Hello everyone. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to safely and efficiently detail an engine bay. A lot of people would avoid engine bay cleaning because they're worried about water or chemicals messing things up. But using some of these steps I'm about to show you in your own process will help you get a professional finish every time. So, let's jump right in. The first step comes down to cool down and prep. You want to make sure the engine is completely cool before you start. Let it sit for at least an hour or so after driving so you're not working with hot surfaces. Next, you'll want to protect the sensitive areas. If you're concerned about water getting into the electrical components, you can either remove the battery entirely or cover it with a plastic bag. Also, make sure to cover any air filters or other potentially exposed parts with a plastic bag to keep the water out. In this case, I'm covering the battery and alternator for just some peace of mind. I'm double bagging them even, as you'll see why later in the video. Once that's done, you're ready to start the cleaning process. Which leads us into the second step, which is apply your cleaner of choice. It's time to start breaking down all the dirt and grease, so choosing a chemical like an all-purpose cleaner of your choice is the way to go. In this example, I'm using Road Warrior by Superior Products mixed 10:1. This ratio is strong enough to cut through the grime, but still safe for most engine components that may be a bit worn out over time. I'm also only giving the top portion a quick rinse since I'm mainly only concerned with the engine itself today. So if you have a foam cannon or a wand, you really want to use it to get behind some of the tough to reach areas. But if you don't have a foam cannon, you can still get great results with a spray bottle, as long as you make sure to apply it evenly. You'll want to let the cleaner dwell for as long as possible, but avoid letting it sit too long on painted areas to prevent staining or damage. I'd actually recommend adding some kind of foamy soap to the top just for some added dwell time and to ensure everything's covered evenly. In this scenario, I added some incredible suds by DIY Detail on top of it all. Which leads us into step 3, which is rinse with gentle pressure. Once the cleaner has had this time to work, it's time to safely rinse it off. You can use the shower setting on a hose for a softer, more even spray, or if you're using a pressure washer, just make sure you're holding it at a safe distance. You don't need a lot of pressure to get the job done. The key here is to rinse from different angles to make sure you get into all the different crevices. Once that's done, it's time to agitate with some brushes. Foam on some more of soap of your choice to help loosen any remaining grime, and grab a couple of detailing brushes to help you get into every area. I've actually dipped my brushes in some rinseless wash in this case, just for some added safety. I like to use something like this green flag tip brush for the larger spots, with a typical smaller detailing brush for some of the more delicate and harder to reach details. So take your time and work in sections, rinse as you go if needed to keep the foam from drying up. Now that we're nearing the end, it's time to protect and make future cleanings easier. Apply some sort of protection, like in this case I'm using quick beads, just to keep everything from attracting more dust and such in the future. In this example, quick beads is great because you can spray it directly into the stream while you're rinsing. This helps spread the product evenly, especially into those tighter areas, and create a protective layer that really helps repel dirt and water. After applying, you give it one more quick rinse to make sure everything's settled in. I'm using DI water for the final pass, just to help remove any chances of water spotting once I start the car back up. This leads us into step 6, which is dry thoroughly. Use a leaf blower or something similar to get water out of all the nooks and crannies. This is the fastest and safest way to dry the engine bay. But for the larger flat surfaces, follow up with a microfiber towel to soak up any remaining moisture. And make sure to remove any plastic bags and double check that everything is dry and secure before closing the hood. And our final step is the final touches and optional dressing. If you want to add an extra layer of shine and protection, you can apply a dressing at this stage. Preferably a non-greasy one though, to give the engine bay a nice clean look without attracting more dirt. And that's really it. It's still scary, especially while doing it, but the results speak for themselves afterwards, and I didn't even apply a dressing. So yeah, cleaning an engine bay this way is safe, effective, and overall just makes future cleanings that much easier. I hope you found this video useful, and I'd like to know, what's the hardest part of engine bay detailing for you? Or if you've never done one before, are you going to give it a try now? But that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed. See ya!